That's right. Who am I? I mean, if you knew anything about me in my life history, you would know. You would find it's actually a miracle I'm standing up here, being able to do this. I didn't plan all this line of discussion today. It's not part of what I worked on. So I'm just going to tell you because I feel like I'm supposed to. When I was still in a high chair, eating, out of a high chair, real little, I fell out of a high chair and hit my head. We had it. See, in America we have a kitchen. Sometimes you have a kitchen area. And when I was growing up, we had a table with metal legs. In the kitchen. It was our kitchen table. And so, you put the high chair by the table, right? Somehow, I fell out of the high chair. I don't know how, because I was so little. And I hit my head on the metal leg of the table. It caused a little scar on my brain and gave me something called epilepsy. And what that does is you have to take medicine. What is it? Can you? What did you say? 腦癇症佢個腦度嗰度有個疤，令到佢有個疤痕叫腦癇症。And so, I had to be taken to the doctor and all this, and immediately no one knew that I had this condition had been happening. But it was noticed later on in my life. So most of my life up into my 30s, I was taking medication for this. Because it's very, what it does is you start having these involuntary, what they call seizures, where your body just moves and you don't have any control. Well, you don't know what I went through. See, in America, if you don't get to have a driver's license, you don't get to go very many places. In order for me, one reason maybe I was developed in this area, I guess, of being able to talk with people. And part of that development was I had to go before a panel of professionals at the Department of Motor Vehicles and guarantee them, to whatever extent I could, that I would not have a traffic accident as a result of this epilepsy, and so that they would let me drive. I mean, I had to sell it to them. They didn't believe me. But I'm not. I mean, it's like this. Here I am. I'm in primary school. Okay, primary school, like maybe 3rd or 4th grade. I don't know what grade. And I don't know what form number that would be here, but because it's a different system. But at any rate, here I am. We're standing. Everybody in school, in the primary school, standing around the flag, doing I pledge allegiance thing. That's what we do in America. It's a thing we do every day in America. So here I am in the morning flag ceremony, and guess what happens? And I can't help myself. I just fall down and start shaking in front of everybody. So they take me to the nurse's office, and they never know what to do. They just let you. They just say, oh well, they've got a little cot, you can lay on it, And then they want to call the doctor or the hospital and have you taken out and all that. But another thing is when you're in school and you have this condition, you have to get you do special things. That most of the kids don't get to do, and they wonder why you get to do these things. You get to walk in the halls without a pass because you're doing it every day at a certain time, and so what you're doing is you're leaving your class. Or you're late to another class because you have to go to the nurse's office to take your medicine. Because they don't allow kids to have medicine in their pockets or in their backpacks. And things like that. And so there's all kinds of things. So, and then if you have, I used to walk home from school. So then you're walking home from school, and guess what? You never know. You never know when these things are going to happen, when you're on medicine or whatever. So you never know. So you might be walking down a back street and boom, you're getting blurred vision because you can't see, and things like that, But I have to tell you, you do get used to working with the situation a little bit as you grow over the years. Well, all this medicine that you're taking, sometimes it slows down your mental processes. So some days, most days, you're like drugged to the point where you're thinking, but the way you're thinking and the way everybody else is thinking is two different things. And there's a lot I can't explain to you. The constant you're constantly afraid. It's not really a fear, but you know that at any time anything can happen and incapacitate you for a few minutes. At any time, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter anything. And now you also learn that certain things tend to trigger the event that I was talking about. And so you try to stay away from those. And, but so the person who's dealing with this, and let me tell you, there's over 100,000 people in the U.S. that deal with it every day. And there's even more since I've not been there for a couple of years. And I don't know what it is like here, but that's what it is. So, anyway, I was asked to speak, to attend this thing called TAPS. What it is it's a part of an organization from the Epilepsy Society. And they wanted me to share because I'd gotten through. I'm out of high school now and all that. Secondary school. They wanted me to share with the current sufferers that were younger how it is that I made it through. And how I deal with it. Now I have to tell you, there is a definite social thing about this. There's like this stigma. People don't know about you if these things occur. They don't know what to think. They don't know what to do. They don't know anything. And rather than, it's a human thing, rather than know what to do, and it's just a thing that whatever that happens and it's over kind of thing. They stay away from you. So you're so. So you don't get to learn social skills because there's no one to socialize with. I mean, this is an experience I had. My sister would have friends come over once in a while, and I would overhear them talking, and they'd say, "Oh, is your brother really that weird?" You know? And my sister would say something like, "Well, no, he's not that weird. It's just that, something happens, and then he might have to sleep for an hour or two after, and then he's done, and he just goes on, Yeah, but I wouldn't want to be around somebody that just freaks out, just whenever, So, and that's the thing. That's what people think. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is, and I'm kind of dragging it because I've had a long 30-some years history with that. Well, I don't really have to deal with it anymore. I was not acting right. I had gotten married, and Nancy noticed one day that I was slurring my words, and I just seemed to be tired all the time. So we went to the doctor, and we don't get to go to any doctor. We have to go to this thing called a neurologist. And the neurologist said, "How long has he been like that?" Like, I'm not there. I'm sitting right there, and he's saying to Nancy, "How long has he been like that?" And I'm like, "Thank you. I'm sitting right here. You can ask me." Yeah, I'm going to digress a minute, and I'm going to say this, and this is the actual truth. Back when I was born in the 1950s, doctors were putting people in insane asylums that had epilepsy. So, part of the reason that I'm here is because my mother fought for me. I mean, when I was like 10, 11 years old, we went to our general practitioner doctor. And the doctor was trying to tell my mother that he needed to perform an operation on me they call it a vasectomy.
然後佢家庭醫生咧，喺佢11、12歲咧，佢阿媽講佢要開佢腦部開刀嗰陣時叫 vasectomy， 就將你個腦切一忽出嚟。
Because people that studies I guess had shown that people that have epilepsy have high sex drives.
然後嗰陣時咧，佢嗰啲嗰陣時個統計嗰陣時咧，即係有腦癇症嗰啲人咧，有呢個病咧，好多時咧佢個性推動力係強過人嘅。
Now, I wasn't being asked about any of this.
佢11、12歲嗰陣時咧，冇人問過佢呢樣嘢。
But I almost ended up in an insane asylum with an operation in my sexual reproduction organ area, so that I could never have children, because they thought that if at any time this problem would come up. See, what happens in an insane asylum sometimes is that a lot of animalistic type behavior goes on.
然後咧，佢差啲11、12歲咧，直指腦部佢會帶咗佢啲球員個腦部開刀，亦咧捐咗佢擺佢喺一個神經病院嗰陣時。
So people are always that are in those places, if they're able to, a lot of times they're running after each other and having sex right there.
喺個天堂院嗰陣時，好多時咧，佢哋入邊咧嗰啲性行為咧係差唔多好似禽獸咁樣嘅。
They didn't want somebody with epilepsy to run around in the public doing that. So he was. See, doctors have certain rights under certain conditions to just do things.
喺美國咧，醫生咧係有個權柄咧，佢睇到某啲人咧，所以佢呢個腦癇症嘅小朋友咧，佢諗住咧閹咗佢頭咧擺。
So because it was.
腦部開刀。
So because it was widely held in the medical community that was an acceptable practice, he wanted to do it. He wanted to do this.
6幾年、7幾年咧，呢個就係解決腦癇症嗰啲男嘅小朋友個解決方法，係時咁樣做。
So my mother said, we need to get him, he's doing well on the medicine from the neurologist and so on and so forth. You're not doing that to him.
不過佢阿媽死同佢撐，佢而家食緊藥啦，佢而家嘅行為好啦，我唔會俾個仔咁樣你咁樣。
So she had to save me from an insane asylum and from a surgery down here.
然後咧，佢阿媽係救咗佢，冇俾到啲醫生閹咗佢，又冇派咗去神經病院。
So here I am, and in our country, we have to, regarding the military service, we have to register for service at a certain age.
我哋美國咧，每一個人咧要登記去美國軍隊，我哋到18歲嗰陣時要登記。
Well, there's a lot of reasons why they won't take somebody for military service. You pretty much have to be in real good physical condition.
Richard 就想講咧，佢當然咧，佢又人都要18歲登記，男應要18歲登記。不過 Richard 當然就話某啲人就唔使登記。
And so I didn't have to serve. They never called me, but I still had to register. And so if you're a young person and you're in high school or secondary school and you have to register for the military because it's the law.
你喺美國咧，你喺中學咧16歲，你實要同軍事部登記咗咧，佢有學叫你去打仗，不過佢冇叫過佢唔使登記。
You just have to do it, and you're thinking, well, they can make me just sit at a desk and you have to do 2 years minimum. So in the U.S.
每次你當軍咧最少2年嘅美國。
So I said, well, they can make me just push papers or something, I'll never be a combatant. I'll never be trained to do that. But everybody has to go through basic training, which means you're trained to be a soldier. they didn't want the problem. They don't want the problem, so they just say no to that, no to this, no to this.
因為佢哋每一個入軍隊嗰陣時咧，有2個月，嗰啲2個月叫 food camp 嘅，嗰個 food camp 嗰個過程咧係地獄式訓練，佢又驚佢又發作，所以佢唔使去冇得去。
Well, anyway, so I asked the Lord, you know, and understand, I didn't know Him when I was real well, when I was real young. So here I am. I'm out of. At this point, I'm out of all the schooling except for maybe college. University. And I'm asking the Lord, because I'm more mature and grown now, I'm asking the Lord, what is all this for anyway? Well, you don't ask what is this for, because there's an easy answer. It's for my glory, he says. Okay, so don't ask the Lord what is this for, because he'll tell you it's for my glory. And so you say something like back, say, where's the glory in this? I mean, really? So, I mean, here you are, you have to have someone fight for you. And, you know, many parents wouldn't do it. They just say, it's too much trouble, you're right, let's go put him over here and I'm done. But thankfully, my mother didn't do that. Okay, so that's just so that you all know, it's a miracle I'm actually standing up here, because if I am still suffering from this, I couldn't do this. If I was, you'd be seeing somebody up here that looked kind of half-drugged and couldn't speak in a normal rhythm at all, very much slow and dragged out. All right. Now we're going to shorten the actual sermon. That was not it. Turn to Isaiah 61. Isaiah 61. Now I'm just going to go over this a little bit. We're not going to do all the regular kinds of, we'll read Chinese and we'll read English stuff. I talk too long. Oh, by the way, what happened, I forgot to tell you this part. What happened was, we went to this neurologist and he took me off my medicine over a period of time because he said I didn't need it anymore. I was in my mid-30s. But I also did stupid things. I tried to fake it into existence. And it didn't work. I ended up having to take the ride in the little ambulance. when I did that.
因為每次佢食藥啊，扮自己冇事咧，佢遲早。
They said, "How long have you not been taking your medicine?" I said, "Oh, for about a week and a half."
然後佢到時到話扮自己冇病，然後一個幾星期佢又卒之咧。
I'm asking God to heal me. You know. And so, some of you, actually, it's just it's a psychological thing that people do because they think God can do it. He just has to have the reason. So I'm going to give him the reason. Well, you can't. I'm telling you, you cannot manipulate God. It doesn't work. Don't try it. It's a waste of time and it gets you into more problems. Okay. Isaiah 61. Adriana, can you read 1 through 5?
1 through 5. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to those who are bound, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor, and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn, to grant to those who mourn in Zion, to give them a beautiful headdress instead of ashes, the oil of gladness instead of mourning, the garment of praise instead of faint spirit. Then they may be called oaks of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he may be glorified. They shall build up the ancient ruins, they shall raise up the former devastations, they shall repair the ruined cities, the devastation of many generations. Strangers shall stand and tend your flocks, foreigners shall be your plowmen.